All right. So we'll just get started right away. Thank you for coming this morning. Appreciate the fact that you're here. And I was driving home yesterday, and I was thinking about just the last couple of days. And as you were coming in, I was just sharing with Diane that the hospital crew is quite not surprised per se, but that this dad healing really so quickly. If you think about it, he went in Monday at 8:30 in the morning for some simple stent surgery, and his heart wasn't the arteries weren't hardened enough for them to put the stents in. And then he had in a recovery room, he had a massive heart attack. And so we found out, I can't remember if I shared this yesterday, so I apologize, everyone. But we found out that he has this extremely rare condition, as in like 1 in a million, where when they go in to do the exploratory piece of it, and I don't know what that's called. Tasha, hello, you probably know what that is. They go in and put the balloon in to see if he actually needs a stent. And every time they did that, they give them some sort of medication to relax the arteries so that they can do this. Well, the condition that they think my dad has, now it's too late to really know, is that there's an actual condition where your arteries will spasm uncontrollably and close up and clamp up, and would feel like to someone like hardened arteries, which is where the chest pain was coming from. And so when they went in to put the stents and then didn't put the stents in because it didn't need it, in recovery, then dad had this massive, massive heart attack. And they think that's what it is. So, but they also said that they could have irritated it. That could have happened, and they could have irritated it with this last exploration. So, which is awesome for the doctor to share that with us, right? That it could have been a man, an error, not an error necessarily, but could have been irritated by what they were doing. Either way, so as we're witnessing this miracle, so Monday, right, he has this massive heart attack, 45 minutes of CPR, and so far, I mean, he's still intubated, so he doesn't have we don't know if he can still talk. I mean, he's functioning. He's writing notes because he wants the tube out. So he's like knows who we all are. Like brain function is amazing. They know that some organs have been, what do they say, hit, like taken a hit, but they don't know the long-term effects quite yet. Regardless of that, none of us are actually really worried about it, considering everything that's been going down, right, with this miracle that we're all witnessing. So it's been pretty cool to witness that. And so as I'm driving home last night, thinking about my family and thinking about just in general life, right? And I'm sure all of you who have experienced some sort of creation, I will own it that way, a creation like this, some sort of experience like this, you start to witness, at least I've witnessed, this has happened to me with my mom a couple times, of a deep reflection is upon who I am as a human being, who I am as a mom, who I am as a girlfriend, where I'm at in my life, where I'm at in my business, and with no regrets, no shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but just an opportunity for reflection. And so this morning in meditation, I was reminded that one of the principles of in AA and Al-Anon is to take your self characteristic, take the inventory of self, right, and assess it. Is this kind of where I want to be? Is this who I want to show up as in life? And but then the other piece of that is to ensure that you don't take the inventory of others. So another way of saying that is, in my world, I've always said individuals can be a mirror for you to look at and to reflect back to you, an opportunity for growth. And if they're triggering you, that's really an opportunity for growth. And so just reminding myself of some of these key principles that I have forgotten from Al-Anon, or Alateen is really where I went to. around around peace and serenity. Because in the world of the 12-step program, that's one of the things I talk lots about is the serenity. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so I love that prayer. I use that prayer, a lot, because for me, peace and serenity have been a core, I think, desire that I've had from a very, very young age. And upon reflection, I can look at the different times in my life and go, I create. So, right, I'll create peace and serenity when I'm in that space and place where I'm accepting the things, right, that I cannot change. And I'm not at peace when I'm trying to manage, control, manipulate my environment or people. And so it's not just the people, it's the environment. And then, so in this meditative state this morning, what kind of came to me was, years ago, my mentor said, if you want a different business, the mistake that everyone makes, Ranchelle, is working on changing the business. And so if you want more sales or more clients, the mistake that people make is fixing what they think to fix to have more. It's not even a getting energy, but to have more clients. And so they start focusing on different techniques, different systems, different tips. And he said, and that's yes, that we might need a different skill set. Marketing is a skill set. Sales can be a skill set. He said, but really, what the focus should be on the individual who's running the business, who's managing the business. And if we look at, and we come to awareness of where we are and I'll go into am I supposed to do business in life? Take business. So we go into and we look at the awareness of where we are in our business. It's kind of like a dot on the paper. And then we go, okay, here's where I want to be in my business. And we, put another dot, up, let's say on the right-hand side, or writing on paper, like here's where I am, here's the dot, here's where I want to be. And we only focus on the skill set, right? Then we start focusing on the wrong piece. And so the piece is to ask, what's the next step? And it might have nothing to do with business. And then we get confused. No, I want this much revenue. I want this many clients. And then we get confused because we're not shown what the next, because we think it's going to be a sales piece or a marketing piece or like a foundation piece, a systems piece, and an operations piece, which all are important. But often the next step is internally. Who do we need to, and we've talked about this, but being guided to share it, I guess, in a different way, is who do we need to be? What is required of us? Not to do, but what is required of us to move into that next step? And so although it may look like kind of like a stair step approach, the quantum leap can actually happen, because it's like, what is the next step? And who do I need to be? What is required from me? And then we'll be shown. We will absolutely be shown what that next step is. And we often will miss it if we're only focused on the techniques, the skill set, which are important and will be required. And so if you look at your life and you think about, your business, or and even, I guess, focus on the life piece if the business piece doesn't quite apply. And you think about I'm in awareness of where I am, and I'm in awareness of where I want to be. And are you in awareness of what that gap is? Because you might think that gap is something that you, like I said, that you have to do. And there absolutely will be inspired action. But I'm being guided to share with you that it's probably a little bit different than what you think it is. It's probably a little different. And so if you've tried everything to do, if you've done everything that you possibly can in your business, and you truly, and that is like the truth of the capital T, right? Then look at what else might be required of you, and just be open to what you'll be shown. And because everything is created as a whole, we are created as a whole, everything's in the formless substance. We have the power to create the formless substance and turn it into form. And we do that not by necessarily having the next best strategic plan, although that's important, but by something else. And so if you feel like you're missing something and you can't figure it out, chances are it's not it's not the skill set. It's not a skill set that you're missing. It's not a skill set, because here's the thing. If you've ever had a child who wanted something, right, from you, and they kept on asking you for it, and they, wouldn't let it go. And I don't know about you guys, but my kids were really persistent. They still are. They're 25 and 23. And they'll create a way. So I'll use language I don't normally use. They get what they want. Have you ever had that, like, where your kids just wore you down? Now there's some silliness to it, but they're selling us. They don't have a well, they may or may not have the skill set to sell, right? So don't take everything like literal, but the sense of it is, we're being taught, programmed, conditioned, right, that we have to do things in a certain way, a skill set in a certain way, or it won't work. I think we've all been part of that, participated in that, witnessed that. And you can tap in and tune into your own intuition and ask, is it a skill set that I'm missing? If it is, show me the skill, like show me where to develop the skill set. Or is it something else? And you can tap into your intuition. Your body will respond, right? We're a triune being, mind, body, and soul. Your body will tell you, is it a skill set? Is it a belief? Is it a limiting belief? Is it, right? Is it mindset? I mean, your words will be way more important than the words that I'm using. But the moment you feel like you're lacking something, that is a lie. That's the lie. None of us are lacking anything. There might be a gap in awareness, and that's it. But none of us lack anything. And I think it was yesterday, sorry, my timelines are really messed up right now, when I talked about, in this awareness piece, and this you tie in, I guess, that the gap piece is that you're not missing anything, right? They're not missing out. And sorry, I had the message and I lost it, so hang on for a second. It's kind of like we're in a game, right? And we're living out this experience. And if you believe, accept is the other word that I'm being given, that our soul made a decision to come here at this time in this body. And it's the childlike curiosity of like, oh, what's going to happen today? Oh, right, like that. Have you ever watched your kids play pretend? Right? And it's kind of like that, where we have this opportunity to like just have experience after experience after experience. And it's only our human conditioning that has decided that it's a good experience or a bad experience. For your soul, it is simply an experience. And it can be, it's our conditioning that tells us that we're to behave a certain way. And I'm blessedly reminded of this week as the people around me, other than my mother, which is really interesting, are keep on asking me, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm not great, because I'm watching all of my family experience pain and fear of loss. So that doesn't feel good. So my empathic nature in me is like, yeah, I'm good. And everyone around me is trying to have me not feel good. Not out of rudeness, but out of a not understanding how I can be good in the times of stress, in times of grief, in times of loss. And it doesn't mean that I'm not afraid. Actually, I was gonna say, it doesn't mean I'm not afraid, but that's not true. I'm not afraid. I don't have fear at all. But what I'm witnessing is people wanting me to share their experience. That's a better way. Thank you, God. People want me to share their experience, right? Their fear, their grief, their concern. And I'm not. I'm actually more concerned, if I can use that word, about my mom, who's not taking care of her body. And my mom has some health challenges. So I'm more concerned about that, right? If I was to be concerned about anything, because my mom is really stubborn. She's like, I'm fine. And I think she is mentally fine, physically, not so much. And so it's interesting when you I guess the guidance is messages today is your experience is meant for you, and you don't have to take on anyone else's experience. You don't have to justify how you feel. You don't have to justify your actions. You don't have to explain. And we're conditioned to explain, to justify, to prove our whatever opinion, our value, our worthiness, whatever that is. And you're not required to do that. And it's okay, right? So I'm witnessing people other than my kids, because my kids, they know exactly what's going on with me. Witnessing my family wanting me to have this same experience. And I think people will do that. Not intentionally, right? Not from a place, like not from a shadow place. So I would intentionally, maybe it's not the best word, but because they don't understand. So the reminder that as we expand in consciousness, there might be an opportunity where less people understand you, and that's okay. Because if we're seeking understanding, right, we're seeking, there's an underlying seeking to belong, seeking to like check mark, yep, I'm okay, right? And we are okay. Wherever we are in our journey is perfect for us at this time. All right, let me just check in. No, we're good. We're good. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow morning. So tons of love to all of you. Okay. Thank you.